The more you try to keep me down and keep my head above the water, you can never hold me down. The more you try to block me out, that's where I kick the wall down. You can never hold me back. The more you try to put me out, the more I'll be blazing, it's too hot. The more you try to put me in the dirt, increase my work, the expert. You see the hunger in the eyes of a survivor. Swallowed my pride, washed down with some saliva. Reinvented my whole life, mental MacGyver. One door shut, another open up wider. Listen, battle drums in the distance, moving with enough force like army tank pistons. Pray for the strength of Jah to fight resistance. Fight mode, shields up, moving with resilience.
The strength of 1,000 lion and the strength of 1,000 giant. Please stay strong. Please stay strong. With the strength of 1,000 elephant and the strength of 1,000 tiger, we stay strong. We stay strong.
Hey everybody, it's you with Pinecase. It's another Tuesday evening. We've kind of all over the board this week with what we're doing, how we're doing, and we're doing shows, although they've all been in the same studio. But I appreciate you all joining me on this wonderful evening. I hope everyone is safe and happy out there. This is Pinecase podcast, the cast where music is our drug of choice. And tonight we're hanging out with the one and actually fucking only Lucas Jones. So thank you so much, darling, for hanging out with us.
Of course.
Matt, what is going on? I don't even want to be that one because listen, we actually have quite a bit of history, you and I.
We got a lot of history. It's been 18 years of history.
Yes. How wild is that?
It's wild. We touch base like, little bits through the years, little gaps we hit and say hi. But yeah, we met when I was 23. That's when I sobered up for 8.5 years.
Yeah, you saved me that day, actually.
Yeah, you said you kept saying that. I remember.
Listen, I was working today at Ricky's Cafe, and anybody has worked at Ricky's all day breakfast, whatever, they know this day is absolutely the most heinous day of the year. And I was like under some pressure. I was up the night before. There was things in my personal life. Right at the end of my shift, I dropped a tray. Glasses just went flying. There was a hair in somebody's food.
It was my food.
Oh yeah, right.
I ate it. I was like, oh, whatever. I've eaten worse.
Right, totally. But you were so that day. Like your demeanor was so cool. You were kind to me, and I appreciated it. Honestly, I went outside and to top it off at the end shift, I went outside and my car's gone, and I was like, man, how this day could not go. And it's like there's just no way, like at the time that's when I was hanging out with, they came and like jacked me up for my car and pulled all the spark plugs. It was wild, but anyways, you gave me a ride home because you're lovely, and I appreciate it. So thank you for being cool. You made sure I got home safe. Man, Campbell were back in the day. Wasn't that a wild place though?
That place was crazy. I almost got jumped by like 20 guys at JJ's, and I had a cast on that. In that time, I stayed in Campbell for a year when we met, right? Yeah. And it got nuts for me there. I had to get out of there after a year. It got crazy. And I was like, what did I do wrong? Like, and the weird part was these two strangers came and sat beside me. They're like, what's going on? I'm like, these guys, they want to like jump me, and I got a cast on. I'm like, and they're like, you gonna buy us a beer? I was like, whatever, man. Whatever. Sure. And they went outside, they come back in, they're like, it's taken care of. And I was like, what the fuck? I didn't even know these guys. I bought them a beer, we hung out, I didn't even drink, right? I should never have even been there in the first place. I think I was with my cousin, and he was just anyway, long story short. Yeah, I got out of that one safe.
That's so wild. Tell me, take a little bit through like your road to recovery, because it was a bit of a wild ride. Like you have some time in between. Take us back a little bit.
So we did 8.5 years. We're just gonna make this real quick. The gifts of recovery gave me a lot of inspiration, a lot of confidence. This was in my 20s. I ended up doing runway modeling for 5 years in Vancouver and Victoria, and I did. I managed a band for a couple of years. Fast forward, I got into acting for 5 years. And then I had 2 sponsors that died in 1 year on me. And I was like Captain Recovery in my 8.5 years, right? Like I was going to schools and talking to kids. I was going to detox panels. I would have the best message, and I thought, I did all my steps. I had sponsees. I was killing it because I really bit into this program, like really bit right into it. And after those two sponsors died, I don't remember if remember Ange and Dave Schultz from Campbell River.
I don't know. They actually that name Dave Schultz.
Yeah, he was a biker. Ange with her red hair. Dave was a biker. He ended up passing away 10 years ago.
Dang.
Anyway, yeah, long story short, yeah, he was my sponsor, and another guy was my sponsor too, and they both died on the fentanyl epidemic. And I blamed NA for it all. I said I had enough of this, like people were dying on me, but it was like, I love these two men. They raised me, right? Like I was that kid that did the beanies, that did, I tried robbing a McDonald's and Dunkin'. I was robbing cars. I did a couple home invasions. It was like, and then at 20, I did from 18 to 23, 10 recovery centers. And at 23, I said I'd never hurt another person in my entire life. And these two gentlemen helped me do that. I followed them everywhere. One was a music producer and one was an old biker. And they mashed me together to create this little butterfly, where they're like, spread your wings, bro, and just go. And I just sent it, right? I just sent it. And I love these guys so much that I wasn't ready for them to die. It's crazy. Like, when two people that you just love so much in your life, like I never really had a family, but I have a family, if that makes sense to anybody. Like I don't got a family, but I got a family. I'm the black sheep. To this day, none of it made sense why they didn't want me. But these two guys, they loved me for who I was, and they just saw me for something better than what I thought of myself. And yeah, after they passed away, I didn't believe in this program at all anymore. I thought it was bullshit because it promised me a better life, and it didn't take anybody away from me. Drugs took them away from me, right?
Yeah.
I can't say this program did, but in my eyes, I blamed it all on this fucking program. I said I'm done with this. I don't want to ever come back, and I didn't come back for another. I didn't come back for a while. I didn't come back fully until last year, to be honest. I ended up living a different life. I became a normal person. I relapsed after they died for 2 weeks. And guess where I went back to sober up? I went back to Campbell River.
Yeah.
I sobered up for 2 weeks, and they started the hospital there. And from the hospital, I got a 20-man company going.
Damn.
It was, I don't know where the energy came from and the power that came from it. But from that point on, I just went on for another 8 years and created Vic City Drywall and Vic City Hauling. And they blew up big time. Like everyone's like, the COVID was an epidemic. And I was like, I was thriving in COVID,
Yeah.
Like I was being a normal person. I could drink and put it down. I could do drugs and put it down, right? And I could do all this stuff. I would quit for a year here and there, and I was back, But the funny part was I was still using the tools that I got out of NA to be able to like, I'll just stop, like, I'll just, chill out for the week, right? I'll just,
Right.
And it was nuts. Like the whole thing was nuts. I've never had so much of everything that I didn't want in my life. If that makes sense to anybody. I had the most original car in BT that nobody had. This huge company with 20 just hourly employees. It could have been bigger, it could have been smaller, but it stayed at a reasonable amount. And I was engaged in big houses. But I still kept going on with, I was never going to harm another person in my life and still do good things. So instead of giving back to AA and NA, I was giving back to like the Canadian Cancer Society. I managed a band for a couple years, and we threw a 10,000 person show on, right? I was I would walk 20 drywallers into the children's hospital and drop off toys. I would bring 200 roses to the nurses in the hospital when they're getting beat up, right? Call it Nurse Appreciation Day. That's not even a thing, but I made it a thing, because I still had the big heart, but it was having such a big heart and doing drugs and drinking is what really softens up a guy, makes you even softer because your emotions are like flailing. And so I was like paying guys rents, buying them cars. You know, I was doing way more than I should. I got too close to my crew as a friend. People just started taking advantage of me, and that's what even my own fiance was taking advantage of me. Like, she would steal from me, blame it on a maid, and we ended up getting this maid deported. And then I found out it was her, and I was like, "What the fuck did you do, bro?" Like, she's like, "It got way out of control. You know, you should just give me money." And I was like, "What the hell's going on here?" I know, and I just turned into too nice of a guy, and I lost balance. Right, I lost all balance for myself. I didn't appreciate the value I had and the value I was giving, and you know, it was only up until 8 months ago I sobered up again, like really sobered up. I'm 41 now, and June 8th, when I was 40, I made sure I was in rehab for my 40th birthday. And this is how nice I am a person. I left 10 grand with this girl in Nanaimo that I thought was a friend of 20 years because I was going on a rampage. I wanted fresh start money, right?
Yeah.
So I left my money with this girl, and I'm in rehab, and I'm like going through the motions, you know, I need some money for this. And she started to not want to give me money back, right? And what the crazy part is when I got out of rehab, this shit just disappeared. I was like, what the fuck? I just left this chick 10 grand of my money, my only money, my car payments. This was supposed to be a place to rent. This was supposed to be this and that.
Damn.
And she kept it on me. She just kept my money. And I was like, oh my God. So I went back to my parents' house after I got to rehab. And lo and behold, I got bit by a brown recluse spider on my leg.
Okay, wait. What? Okay, wait, what?
So this is how shit gets so crazy. It like got so crazy. Not only did this go like, I died. I was like on day 3, I died. I was fucking dead. So I was like, oh well, no money, no nothing. Let's go back to drugs because apparently you get drugs for free everywhere. You know, so I went back at it, but it even got worse. I started selling guns. I started selling drugs. And it just kept going down the rabbit hole. I had 36 guns pulled on me in 3 years. I haven't had a gun pulled on me since I was like 18, you know, and now I got 36 pulled on me in 3 years. What the fuck am I doing? You know, and I didn't even think that was crazy. I was like, this is awesome. You know, this is so exciting. Like, what is going on with my life?
Holy shit.
Oh, it got so bad. Like, I had SWAT teams hitting us in fucking towing stores. I got, you know, raided at liquor stores. I was like, it was nuts. It was crazy. But
oh, okay, hold on. There's so much to unpack here. Wait.
There's so much mess.
Roll this shit back. Okay, so congratulations on me because I don't know brown recluses do that shit. I don't know. That's like my
It's a bad spider.
Yeah. I know. And like, I'm not even scared of spiders, but there's something of like, especially this time of year when they're just like hang out whatever and they catch you off guard. I don't really. I could do with them is what I'm trying to. So you know, glad you're still here because I think he's deadly. But maybe more importantly, like congratulations for having the local RCMP attachments because I know exactly where Campbell River is. I know how Victoria operates, and I'm pretty familiar with the West Coast as a whole, and not everybody has that privilege to do all that shit and then you know walk away from it, right? Like, I mean, real. So congratulations on all that.
I don't even know if that's a win.
But
I should never have been there in the first place.
But like, okay, so but then how the fuck did you turn this ship around? Because that's sailing pretty close to the sun, my guy. Like,
it got so bad. It got so bad.
But what stopped? Like, what happened? Like
how did it change around? So I met a girl, right? I met a girl, and I went at my parents' house, and there's a hospital being in Duncan. There's a hospital being built just down the road, right? And I called up. I'm like, hey, I'm looking for a job. Blah, blah. They wouldn't give me one. So anyway, I met this girl, and this girl was in Victoria, and she ended up selling drugs, right? And I was like, so we just got hit at the tow yard in Duncan for guns, and I fucking fucked off out of Duncan to her house, right? And she let me stay with her. She was super nice at the beginning, and then drugs took over. I went on a big ketamine hole, right? And this ketamine hole brought me to this triangle. You know, this is another story. And all I've been seeing is having these visions of all this crap, right? Like I've never done ketamine, you know, and I just did it like a year ago, right? Like this is the first time I've really dabbled in it. Like I dabbled hard. I went to this, and people are like, "You're K-hole," and I'm like, "No, bro, I'm like seeing visions of shit. Like it's nuts."
And
Anyway,
explain on just for the people in the comment. Also, like, thank you everyone for joining us tonight. We see we appreciate you. Actually, this wouldn't be without you. So thank you so much. There's like I think I seen the states down in the section in Washington. People are in from all over the place. Phil, Luke, Endless Bays hanging out. So thank you guys so much. But so for people who don't understand, I don't have a relationship with ketamine. Anything like you know, I horses. So I know it for that. Like we use it in the veterinarian world, but can you explain to people a little bit about like what that is?
so it's a tranquilizer.
Okay.
Basically, it's a downer. You're functioning differently. You actually you can see 7D on it. I swear to God. Like I was seeing my phone jumping around, you know, and I thought this stuff is so cool. Like my world was like a bubble world. It was nuts, you know. I could see why people got addicted to it, right? But for me, it was like I was seeing more than just like stuff that was like trippy and cool, you know, stuff that started meaning purpose, you know. And as I was taking it down, I could hear like voices, you know, psychosis, people will say. Me, I call them visions, right? Now, these voices were telling me that this girl is going to be a piece of shit to me,
Okay.
right? And she's going to get mad at me, and she's made a deal with somebody, and she's going to kick me out of her house. Okay. And it ended up that exact thing just happened. She starts getting mad at me and starts yelling at me for no reason. You know, and I'm like doing nice shit for her. Like I built this huge fucking barbecue pit in her backyard. I was giving her flowers. She'd tell me thank you for the dead flowers, you know, all kinds of weird shit like that. And she just kept getting meaner and meaner to me, right? And I was like, it's okay. And I just kept saying this to her. I was like, it's okay. You can be mean to me. I'm like, this is what's supposed to happen. And I knew this was going to happen. So this is where it's full circle. That hospital I built in Campbell River that I was telling you at the beginning of the story, that guy was building the one in Duncan. And he called me up. He's been looking for me for like 6-7 months, right? And so the gun thing was stopped because I got raided. I was like looking for a job. And anyway, he called me up and was like, I've been looking for you for 6 months. He's like, I need a 6-man crew. I need them in Duncan at this hospital right away. And I was like, look, I got nowhere to live. I don't even got tools. You know, he's like, I'll buy you all this stuff. Because he saw me. I was like 220 pounds when he saw me. I had a 20-man crew. I was like killing it. I was doing great.
Yeah.
So he put me up in places in Cowichan Valley and stuff like that, right? And I brought a 6-man crew there. Half of them didn't even make orientation because they were too fucked up. I didn't really care because I needed that job. It was union, right? And from there, I kept. It went from one house to another house, and then he put me up in this crew house, and I was selling drugs out of his crew house. But he never told me that I shouldn't drink water there, and I was getting really sick. Like the water was poison water. It was in like Cow Bay, right? And I was so sick. I was like basically dying. I couldn't eat. I was doing lots of drugs. I was selling lots of drugs. And his best friend shows up and starts moving in with me, right? His friend's like fucking doing drugs with me, you know, and me and his friend show up, and his friend's like screaming at me one day because the door was locked, yelling at me. He's like, I'm gonna fucking kill you, I'm gonna kill you. This is the end of this. This is coming to the end of it all. And I was like, fuck, you know, what the fuck? So I had to get all my drugs out of there. And I ended up staying up for like 14 days because I thought this guy was going to kill me, right? Yeah. I would go to work and I'd be on a 50-foot boom lift and I'd be like standing up to sleep, you know, because I would stay awake all night thinking this guy was going to kill me, do drugs all night. And then I go to work, 50-foot boom lift, practice standing up, sleeping, nailed it. You know, it was something else. Anyway, I was day 14 and there was this guy on the job site named Jimmy. And I was like making fun of Jimmy for like 2 months. I didn't know what the fuck Jimmy did there. Jimmy would like walk around with his little clipboard. This guy would do fuck all. He would like sway around like he was fucked up. And I'm like, what do you even do here, Jimmy? And Jimmy's like, I'm here to watch you. And I'm like, oh, I'm like, fuck you are, bro. You are fucked up. He's like, I'm actually 20 years sober. And I was like,
Jimmy's like, I know we're up to, bud.
Absolutely. And here's the thing. I've been trying to get into treatment. Like I asked the unit 3 months prior. I told them I got a problem. I need help. And you know what they told me? They told me to go fuck myself. And they made me suffer 3 more fucking months until Jimmy comes along, and Jimmy's like, man, you know, like,
yeah,
I got, you know, I know what's going on. And he's like, say the 3 words. And so this guy, his friend, we got in a fight. He said he was going to kill me. I was up for 14 days. The only thing I was thinking about was killing this fucking guy, right? Like, I was going to sober up by going to jail for 5 years. I was going to murder this man. And that was my mind state. That was the only solution I had. That was it. And it was Sunday, and I was just like, this guy's going to kill me in the bush if I call him and tell him I need help anyway, you know? Like, I don't know what's the better solution, is jail or have this guy fucking murder me, you know? I don't know Jimmy at all from a hole in the ground at all. He just tells me he's 20 years sober. I don't even have a clue who he is. And I was like, fuck it, let's take the chance, you know, because I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
And I just, Jimmy, I need help. And you know what the guy said to me? He said, that's the first honest thing you've ever fucking said to me. Shut the fuck. No. So the next day, he's like, pack a bag. The next day, he throws me in the 4th floor for the night, right?
Yeah.
So they kept me for the night so I could sleep. You know, 14 days awake, you've lost it. So they put me to sleep. On September 11th, 911, Jimmy picked me up. He's like, grab your bag. He drove me from Duncan to Port Alberni. This is a 4-hour drive.
Yeah.
Into the bush, where I was begging in my head that he was going to put me down. You know, like a mercy kill.
Yeah.
You know, like I didn't know this guy. This guy doesn't know me. And he leaves me on his property. So his house is probably like 400 yards over here. His grandma's house is over here. There's a big farm here. Then it's bush. And they left me in a trailer right on the water, right? And it got really weird out there. But
really weird.
It got weird.
It does, yeah.
But, this guy's like, all right, I'm taking you to a meeting. And he dropped me off at a meeting. And he's like, figure out your way back. And I had to fucking figure my way out, right? Like, by the time I got to his property, I was missing my front tooth. I was like 50 pounds underweight. Everybody in that meeting that I saw, they were looking at my face and they were just like, they were scared of me, you know, like they're fucking scared of me. And I looked at one guy, I was like, do you know Jimmy? And they're like, yeah, we know Jimmy. I was like, do you know where he lives? Because I got no idea. I'm in Port Alberni. I've never been here before.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah. I'm like, well, I'm staying on his property. And they drove me out to his property. The guy drove me up to his property. I saw 3 bears, like just
they're like, no, Jimmy, like, holy shit. Okay, this is crazy. Sorry, I'm like trying to wrap my mind around this story because people don't understand. Like, when you're like, I personally went through more weird shit after than before. People are like, oh, yeah. I was in psychosis. Have you ever detoxed before? Because like after that is when the weird shit starts.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
You're sobering up, weird shit happens.
Yeah, that's when all like, man, like we don't need to go there right now. This is your show, but yeah, completely. People that are like, oh my gosh, psychosis was wild and drugs were. I'm like, I don't know, man. And so Eddie was like, really did that for me. Like, I don't know. Right? It was, yeah, I don't know what the heck was going on. Like, I felt really level headed when I was taking in the party. Was when I came off of it is when I really had to like, you know, check on mental health. But yeah, okay. Yeah. So, yeah. So anyways, you're looking for Jimmy. You're looking for Jimmy.
Oh yeah, the Jimmy. So I ended up jamming Jimmy's property. Okay, this is the nighttime. There's bears down there. There's cougars down there. There's flocks of deer. It's September. It's breeding season for deer, right?
Yeah.
And I'm down there by myself. 7 in the morning, right? 14-day bender. Went to 4th floor. 7 in the morning. Bang, 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 bang on the fucking door. His wife opens the door. Get up. You're coming to chop wood. I ended up chopping 4 quarts of wood. You know, they made me, you know, they didn't make me. Here's the thing. They didn't make me. I got to do this stuff, right? Like I was on this man's property who didn't know who I was, right? For appreciation of what he was doing, I did these things when they asked me to do them, right? I'd feed their cows. I'd hay bale. I'd chop their wood. I would do their metal fences. I couldn't have done half the shit for, you know, I just did it, right? Because how bad did I want to be alive? So here's the thing. Jimmy would come back on the weekends, right? I started using his farm as a facility, right? I started, I'd hitchhike to meetings. And these meetings were like 2-hour, 3-hour walks. I'd hitchhike to them. I'd get a ride back. I'd hitchhike to him. I'd get a ride back. How bad did I really want this shit? Like Jimmy and I started working out again. I started doing push-ups. I started using rocks to lift weights. I was swimming in the water, Jimmy would come back that weekend. And you wouldn't be like, hey, buddy, how's it going? Jimmy does not know me at all. This random guy put me on his property. No fucking clue, right? He thinks he's talking to, let's talk to a fucking drug addict, the way a drug addict should be talked to. So Jimmy lays into me. He's like, I hope you know I really don't even fucking want you here, right? He's, if it wasn't for AA, I wouldn't even fucking have you here. But I made a promise to help somebody who's dying and needing help. Now that man is really working his program, right? He hasn't been to a meeting in 10 years, But for him to do that, to remember what the gift that he got given at one point in his life is huge, right? That's where you got to find the love in what this guy did for me. So Jimmy would come back and call me a piece of shit. He would tell me, no one's looking for you, no one's calling you. And they weren't calling me. He wasn't wrong.
Yeah.
He's like, you can leave any fucking time. I don't even want you on my fucking property. Why don't I give you your money? I'll drop you off at the fucking needle exchange and you can get the fuck off my property. Because my wife doesn't like you. I don't even like you. And I was this is what I did. I shut the fuck up. What am I going to do? I have nowhere to go. I had nobody looking for me. I had nobody wanting to call me. I felt so alone in these times. This is, mind you, everyone knows whoever's on your the first 30 days, you are most sensitive. You are at your sensibility, but you're usually in a detox or you're in a treatment center. I was on some guy's bush who used an erratic behavior towards me to beat me down because of ego, right? I must have needed it because I didn't say a fucking word to this man. And this man was 5'5", and I'm 6'2", and I'm not a small man, right? So Jimmy would leave. I would start using his facility again. There I go running down the roads. Here I go working out with logs. Here I go swimming in the river. You give me a fishing pole. I'm fishing for fish. I'm trying to eat, right? Jimmy comes back the next weekend. I just found out that the crew house I was in, they grabbed all my shit, threw it in the garbage, and fucking tossed it out on me. And I was like, what the fuck? And I'm like, Jimmy, you knew this. Why didn't you fucking tell me this? And he's like, drives down on us. He's like, you know what, Lucas? Fucking hangs up his phone, drives down. He's like, get the fuck out of here. He's like, he's like, if you don't fucking let this shit go, it's done. Let it fucking go, man. Get the fuck off my property. You're just being a fucking bother in my fucking life right now. You're a fucking succubus. You can go, you go fucking die somewhere. No one's looking for you, man. Has that come to terms with you yet? Nobody fucking cares about you. And all I could think about is in my head is what happened to all those people that I helped out. Where is everybody? Why am I alone? Why does my family still fucking hate me? And this man is just, he would take off again. His wife would come back in the morning. She'd wake me up. We'd go do some chores. 80% of the time I was left down at my own hands on this property. 80% of the time I was left alone. The other 20 I was at a meeting or doing chores. I needed this. The biggest battle I fought was between my fucking eyes, my brain. How much did I want this? Like, how much do I want to be alive? Like, I was looking at the rope right beside me, cliche, and I was just like, that tree looks pretty easy. That's a pretty easy way out of here. I just hang myself. It's done. I don't need to suffer anymore. I counted every day in that place. I called after 2 weeks, and they, after 2 weeks, I was like, am I in treatment yet? They're like, no, we declined you, Lucas. We don't want you to have your fucking cat here. I was like, cat, what the fuck's going on here? Everything kept stopping me from moving forward. Like, I had to stay out there longer. You know, the cat story is even funnier. This cat story comes full circle too. Anyway, as it keeps going on, I mean, I had to let shit go, right? So I lit a big bonfire. I grabbed all my clothes and I burned them. I really wish I didn't do that. I really didn't have to do that, but I did. There was some nice shit, you know. What the fuck was I thinking? And I need to change, right? In the middle of the night, I did this twice, right? Because I was so scared the first time. I lit 2 fires on the side of the river, and it's 12 o'clock at night. And I sat between these fires and I prayed. You know, I was like, you know, not even please get me out of here. You know, just trying to love myself. I needed to let go of all the pain I was holding on to, people's deaths, you know, loved ones, the life that I just blew up. I needed to let it go. So the first time I got up and there was a river right behind me and I ran into this river and this fish hit me in the leg, eh? And I ran out of that river so fast. I was like, I'm out of here. This is nuts. But the second time I did it, it was a full moon. There was a fog coming down the river and I could see this so clearly even right now. And I had these 2 fires going. I videotaped it because I was so worried like a cougar would come left side of me and take me down, right? Like, wildlife was basically my friend out there, you know? I was
Totally.
chasing a bear and this bear would chase me. It was nuts.
You're like,
So
we
anyway,
need some proof. We need some proof of what's going on here tonight. Yeah, okay.
I'll send you the video. This shit is crazy. So the next night I like prayed between these fires, you know, and I'm not much of a God guy, right? Like the only thing that really brought me back was these rooms of NA and AA because I knew there was people in it that understand what I was doing, what I was going through, right? So I prayed for people to be in my life that I need, you know, connection, the real connection. And I turned around and I didn't care what was in that river. I ran into that river and I dove into that river and I screamed and screamed down that river, every pain. And I came out of it just crying, you know, and I crawled myself between these 2 flames. And it was like breaking the chains that bound me to this earth. You know, I was set free. I don't know if any of this makes sense to anybody, but I was set free. The weight on my shoulders was gone. The burdens that I was carrying, the past love was there, but it's not holding me down anymore. You know, like I needed this. And I just crawled in and I finally got my first good night's sleep. And that was on day 30. I didn't know I was going to rehab 4 days later. I finally got the call that I'm going to rehab. And Jimmy made me clean up the whole campsite, of course.
Yeah, he's like, you should, man. Like,
at this point, he's like,
what's going on here?
Yeah.
That's hilarious. Hilarious.
So he let me stay in his house, and at 4 a.m, we got ready to go. And it was a pretty quiet drive from his house to the ferry to come to Vancouver to treatment. And he starts talking to me, and he's just like, keep your fucking head down. He's like, you're one of those guys that loves glamoury things, shiny things, you know? And I didn't say a word. And we get out of the car, and I thought he was going to give me a hug, right? And be like, good job, you know, way to stay sober. But not Jimmy. The last thing Jimmy said to me was, I should have left you on the fucking street. And he turned around and got into his vehicle and then fucked off. And that's when I came into TWC out in Vancouver for the most ruthless recovery I've ever done. And not that TWC was a bad place, but that's where I can't keep my head down. No matter what I do, I'm alive. I think outside of the box, but be in the middle of the circle. You know, I have to be connected. And this is where I found AWA. And that's this right here. We're called Addicts with Aspirations, but we have a morning men's group called Addicts with Attitudes, and our shirts are all Addicts with Attitudes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, this is how I found this.
Yes, yes, yeah.
So many rabbit holes I've been going down, right? Like this triangle I was seeing throughout my ketamine days. And now I'm sitting here wearing it all over my body. So I would be up at 5 in the morning, and I was like, what the fuck is there to do? And they're like, well, there's this meeting in this garage, and it's called Early
Hold on.
Rise. Yeah,
Hold
go ahead.
I just want to say, first of all, when people are going through like vision, right? And obviously it's not really fair to dismiss drug addicts with that because it's like you were sober, you would say that it was spiritual, or oh my gosh, you had a vision, just like you said. And so I think it gets really disrespectful to diss people. Obviously there's a medical component, and we make sure that people are safe, right?
Oh, yeah.
But to dismiss people for having these moments in, like, I had a very similar thing that I went through, and I call it my baptism, because once I had basically snake moaned. I was picked up by 2 bikers and thrown into a basement. I didn't go through traditional talks, much like yourself, right? And it's like you get through that, and then they're like, put your leathers on, get your jeans on, whatever, and getting on the back of that bike. Like, I don't know too many people that have detoxed off of like some heavy duty opiates and put jeans on afterwards, like 72 hours later. But I didn't really think I had a choice, so it was just happening, right? And then when we got down to, they like cracked a beer or whatever, because they're just going on with their daily fucking routine. I'm like, shit, okay, like I really need to like pull my shit together here and like participate in fucking life. Like, okay, so they like crack a beer or whatever, and I'm like, yeah, I'll take one of those, because I mean, at this point, like fucking anything will feel better than I feel right now. And I, it's not like I sat there and got drunk. I had one beers, and I, I jumped over it, and it was like a fucking baptism. Like, it was like, okay, hey, I move on. Like,
that's right.
Move on. And so I just wanted to make sure that like people understand that there's not just one way to do this.
No,
like, there is not one way, and we can't be dismissive of other people's journeys, because there's some truth in that. And then also with the imagery, with this sign, with the synchronicity, whatever you call that, I think it's really important that people acknowledge things, because some of the things that I experienced while I was going through really heavy things during, like, what some people call addiction, or other people call it utilizing, some substances, whatever, party favor. I don't give a shit what people call it, because it doesn't really matter. But was going, when you things like that, like I think that it's okay to acknowledge them again in life after that. Like, there's things that I see that like bring joy. I'm like, oh yeah, I remember those moments that I was having, that although may cause other people some discomfort, like, they weren't bad. And those spiritual moments, those moments of division, like, I feel it almost feels like reassuring. Okay, there it is. It's letting me know I'm on the right path. It's letting me know that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. So I think that there's sort in the triangle, like for you to be able to like wear that now, badge of honor. Like, I wear that now as a sign of like being productive and resourceful and kind. Like, that's so cool that you can take that out of something like ketamine, that I'm not sit here and knock, because I know a lot of people that use it for medicinal or whatever, but something that maybe was a tough time in your life that's now so positive. I think it's fucking rad. So congratulations.
It's crazy. I've been following this triangle since I've been out in Vancouver for the last 7 months, and this thing has got me so many places. Like, Early Risers is a men's meeting at 6 a.m. in the morning, and it's on Zoom, right? So what happens here is how I got connected was a newcomer is the chairperson of this meeting.
Okay.
Right. So I got in the garage. This guy was running it, and he's like, I can't do this anymore. And he took off. And I was like, well, what am I supposed to do with this? There's like 50 guys up there, man. I don't know how to use this computer. He's like, I'll come show you here and there. My buddy Trevor used it before me, and then he left 2 days later. I passed it on to me. And then I got on it for, I think, 10 days or something like that. But it's newcomer based, right? And this is how you get newcomer. This is how you get connected. So you get connected with this thing. There's 50 guys right in front of you, and they're just like, hey, bro, you're gonna be all right, just like we're doing right now. You're gonna get through this, and we're gonna give you suggestions. We're all a bunch of squares. There's 50 squares, that are gonna give you suggestions on how to get through this. right? It's like there's your playbook right in front of you, you know. And every one of those squares have hosted this meeting, this early risers meeting, and it's genius. It's like a machine, right? That helps guys stay sober, you know. So lately, guys have been getting Addicts with Attitudes tattooed on them because they've been saying this has been saving their lives, right? Like, this is where they started. They would wake up at 6 a.m. They would see all of our friendly faces. We would go out and meet them at different meetings, you know, and you never meet these people in person. You just see them on camera, right? Do you believe how many of these motherfuckers are like 5'5" and shit? And they talk like they're 6'4". And I'm looking at them like, no, bro. Like, what's going on here? You know, and that's this early risers is from Vancouver to Nova Scotia and in between. You know, this Addict with Attitudes thing.
Yeah.
But that's been going on for 5 years. That's my sponsor started with 5 other guys, and he was the only one that stayed sober out of it. And he didn't want to do it, but he kind of just carried on through it. That's kind of the story that I heard with it all. And
cool, very cool.
So by the time I met him, all coincidence, all synchronicity. I followed the numbers. His phone number is the password to all of my stuff. His name's Mike. My first sponsor's name was Mike, and they both had the clean dates on the exact same day. You know,
all the shit lining up for you. You're like, yeah, that checks the box.
Boom,
Yeah,
boom,
okay.
boom, boom, boom.
We're
safe. Yeah, and now I'm just like, let's go. There's something with this, right? So now we're just like, hey, we turned into Addicts with Aspirations, okay? Because Addicts with Attitudes is great. It's grit. You know, it gets guys involved. They find it attractive, right? Because we don't promote this shit. We make sobriety look so damn sexy, you know, that it's so damn attractive. And that's my selling point everywhere. This shit is attractive as hell. So this triangle, we just started a women's group. They started it because we don't get to start it. You know, we get to start the men's group. We get to give them suggestions to start the women's group. The women's group has 15 women at 6 a.m. and all Zoom. So you can go out for a nice nature walk, listen on your iPod or your headphones, your phone, anywhere. All right, so these two gentlemen that's part of the society, they were just like, Lucas, we want to go further with this. I'm like, all right, well, what do we got to do? Like, let's go, you know. Totally. Like we're gonna open up a second stage house. So we got ahead of ourselves. We got a second stage house. We had to gut the whole thing. So we grabbed. This is the thing about Addicts with Attitudes, the boys. These guys come out when they're called and they help. Right? They don't ask for money. It's service work. You know, it is amazing. It's like, here's the thing. Addicts and alcoholics, there is a silent army. You know, it's huge. We're in the biggest club in the fucking world. Yeah. You know, wrap that around your head. Like tonight, there's going to be over 150 meetings in Vancouver on the mainland. There's going to be over 80 meetings on the island. There's going to be in the next town over, there's going to be another 6, you know, biggest club in the world, right? How do you access some of this? You know, like, and we're accessing it through our boys, and they're helping out with everything. And these guys have been so good and so kind because they want something to be proud of, that they can be a part of and help other people stay sober. And that's what Addicts with Attitudes is about. Addicts with Aspirations is helping the next guy stay sober. So, gentlemen, it's men with men and women with women, because guys can't help women. You know, some guys are like, I sponsor anybody, you know, but really, bro, do you know what that girl's going through when she's, you know, when it's that time of the month? Like, you can't relate to some of this stuff. You know, you don't have the same drug experience that a woman has had.
Okay,
you know,
hold on. I agree with you. I agree that is appropriate to keep them separate. More so for it's more productive, like when you keep us apart.
100%.
But I do think there is something to be said for, like, you know, I think if you hosted a woman meeting, it would probably be packed. You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying.
Right. And so I don't know. There's got to be a little bit of give and take, because I think there's something to it. Like, women don't necessarily kick it with a bunch of women all the time. Like, I'm sure they could understand it. But I think Paul probably utilize. You know, we all self-medicate for similar reasons. So say that.
But look at it like this: if I'm hosting it and it's all newcomer women, what is the incentive there that they're all thinking?
I don't know.
And it's packed. It's packed, right? Let's fuck.
And I've seen your Facebook profile.
Yeah, I know.
Like, yeah.
Naked between fires. Yeah, that's a picture. Yeah, that's a picture I posted, Calico, the one that I'm between two. I'm not naked. Everyone keeps thinking I'm naked. I'm not naked. I was too scared a bear would attack me. I didn't want to die naked. Like I had underwear onto that picture. But yeah, so addicts with attitudes.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think it's cool though, because there is some pitfalls, some big, that come along with traditional AA and ACADA. Yeah. The system is massive, and it's really quite impressive, but there is some issues that arise, and so it's really neat that have all these kind of offshoots of people that I kind of see the issue. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna hone in on the pieces of work. Yes. And and take it into that a little bit, and then also be like the bridge way, because a lot of people that would see what you guys are doing and be like, I can understand that understand. I get that. I got that bridge over there and get to the bigger kind of principle pieces. Like because I'll tell you what, like there's nothing really about that to me. Like I found it really to deal with. I've gone to one of all things because that was what was appropriate to do, especially if I sit here and talk about recovery or health or whatever. It wasn't fair for me not to experience them. But I'm like, man, I feel there's a better way to do this. Or like my story doesn't fit that timeline like it does for people, right? And so to see these other like groups and clubs and pieces coming for people that fall outside of that, I think is phenomenal. So.
Well, here's the biggest thing right now, like. We get you, when you're ready, like when your life is shit, when you're down and out, when you're feeling alone, we're the people you're going to come see. We're waiting for you when things go bad. We don't want things to go bad for you at all. But just so you know, we're here waiting for you, right? And we're going to get you involved. You're going to get yourself a sponsor, right? You're going to do here's the best part about this. This is the big thing in my life. You get to work on yourself and do the steps. But when you're fucking done, you do not be selfish anymore. You get to be selfish for the first little bit, but when you're done, you get to help out. You get to help the next person. You get to give back what made you just so happy, right? And this is what AWA is about. We're about helping the next person come through. And that's why it's so important that the newcomer chairs this meeting every morning. Because he gets to feel important. He gets to feel like we're going to love you until you love yourself. You know what I mean? Like there's nothing to it. We're going to love you until you love yourself. But now you've done your steps. You've got your sponsee. You've gone through the book. You've done your steps. You've gone through the book. You've gone through the book again with your sponsee. What are you going to do with your time? This is the problem we're having, and we're finding the relapsing. People start drifting away from the program. They start getting bored. They start getting irritable, discontent, and I'm with AWA. I'm not. We are. We're building programs in Vancouver right now to give people more of an upper in life again, something to look forward to. And I got to be a part of going to council meetings for White Rock and council meetings for Surrey. They're called CAT meetings. And these CAT meetings, they do fundraisers for the homeless shelters. Because we need to find the money for these places all over. Find the money for the streets. They do head counts, longest nights of the year charity events. And I'm just like, we need to make this more attractive for the newcomer. Right? Because I'm tired of seeing a guy come in for 30, 60, 90 days. Going right back to his life, and the next thing you know, he's dead. Like I'm a serious person when recovery is played out. I'm a realist, right? Like it's death. Like 3 people have died in the last week on me, and my best friend just died a month and a half ago. Like this shit is fucking real.
Yeah.
Right. And it's not.
The numbers are fucking staggering.
They're staggering. 5 guys died down in the east side of Vancouver a day.
Yeah.
That's in one day, right? Like we're at war, and the war is us. Now the streets are fucked up. We fuck the streets up. And it's not like with garbage. It's not like with, we fucked them up with drugs. We fucked them up with violence. We fucked them up with people sleeping on the streets. right? These people don't have anywhere to go. No, you're true. You're absolutely right. They have nowhere to go, but they put themselves there. You know, I hate to say it, but we put ourselves there. If this is me, I can't speak for anyone myself. I put myself in that bush. Like, let's do a circle back. I did that. I did drugs. I used drugs. I thought drugs were the solution, and they were not. And I kept going and going and going and going and going. Right. Some people end up on the streets just because they have bad luck sometimes too, right? I can't just say that drugs do it all, but you know, the streets are really
and some people really do want to be out there. Like I you know, I try to help people and learn kind of the hard way really that like I do not know anything about anything because I went out to Wisconsin shelter and I realized I was going to make a difference and they like maybe we're not here because we don't have somewhere else to eat. We're here because like, you know, this is the closest to all the access. Don't have cars, so it's like convenient for us to be out on the res and try and get shit to town. I'm like
oh absolutely.
Right. Okay. So wait a minute. Right. And like, you know, I've talked when they had more money on them than I did. I was just like shit. Okay. It's not necessarily cash. So I learned that a couple times, you know, my niece out the way, and it was just like, yeah, I don't know why people are out here, but that does not negate the fact that like we're being failed by our government, that we're
100%.
absolutely being failed by this, and that there is, you know, there's a ton of room for improvement because my goodness, God, like if some people that get aged out of the system. That I'm like, wait a sec, like you literally left foster home yesterday, and now you're living in a stolen tent from the Canadian Tire, right behind Canadian Tire. Like, come on, man.
Yeah,
you know,
let's go. You know,
we need to figure this out. But yeah,
you know, it was so crazy. Last week I was at a CAT meeting, and I basically got in a fucking fight. There was a group of drug addicts, you know, using that are fighting for more drugs at these places they go to. There's like 10 of them, and they go and they fight for more drugs on the streets. And so they call the safe supply, right? Now, in my mind, I stood up. I was like, so we're giving more people drugs back on these streets? Is that what you guys are telling me? Is I need to wrap my head. They're like, yeah, but they're safe drugs. I was like, well, do you know if you don't do drugs, you're safe? Like, I don't know how to wrap my head around the safe drug supply, but that's another story, another avenue.
No, I mean, honestly, because I've advocated for safe supply, but it is a raunchy topic, like, and only because we need to deal with the issue, which I didn't realize actually maybe more from the pharmaceutical point than it does from like a supply standpoint, and we can cut people out. So I was like, everyone's detoxing in their minds. We need to solve the problem. But right, like if you're not doing drugs, then it's the problem. Like,
absolutely, it's crazy. Let's go down that road another time. Let's talk about this project AWA is going on. Okay, so that's the CAT meeting, and I stood up and I was like, hey, I want to do. I don't know why I shot this out, but I was like, I want to do a theater project. You know, I'm tired of watching normal people throw money at us, turn their backs, and be like, fix yourselves, and without seeing the talents that sober people have, right? So this is a big thing for me right now. There's a bridge that's broken right now between normal people and addiction, right? I'm trying to connect it, you know, where I'm doing a theater project out in Vancouver. We are. I got to stop saying I'm because it's not a me thing. We're doing a theater project out in Vancouver. We have theater directors, we have theater producers, we have grants to do this with. Like, I got grants. We got grants from Surrey. I keep saying I gotta get rid of that. We got grants from Surrey to do this stuff, right?
Yeah.
And it's turned out pretty good. We've been doing auditions the last 3 weeks now. 2 weeks, sorry. 3 weeks this week. And people are coming out. Now, this is going to take a lot of brave men and women in addiction to break their anonymity because it's a recovery-based theater. Okay, and we got the rights to a theater called Urinetown. And Urinetown is about a town that's dried up, and you have to pay to use the washroom. And it's a Broadway theater. It's really, there's different skits to it because if you go to the East End, where does everybody go to the bathroom? You know, and we're trying to you're right. Like, too many times people get kicked out of stores, you know, so we're trying to make it it's a comedy too. So it's gonna be really funny, but it's gonna be, the thing is, this is what I'm aiming at. This is gonna be publicly shown, right? And it being publicly shown is going to show the public that recovery people have talents too. You know, like, we're talking, there's musicians, there's actors, there's improv people, there's dancers, and we're hiding our talents. And what do we do in recovery when we sober up, right? We end up becoming money-based, some of us. We end up just being recovery-based, but that's just like getting a sponsee, doing the steps, getting a sponsee, doing the steps, getting the repetitive, right?
Mhm.
So I'm trying to get this out, that being part of something, like this is a four-month project. You get to read lines, you get to be out with just recovery people. It's a good way to, we're telling it as staying sober because it's something to look forward to, and I get to do this. We're going to be doing this every 5 months. But also, if this goes so well, we're going to be able to open up more programs in Vancouver for recovery people that will be shown to the public, like rap battles, sober improv shows, sober music shows. There are a few little dabbling things around here and there, but they are only shown to recovery people. Why are we only showing them to recovery people? Like, we should be showing them to normal people, showing people that we're real people too,
Yeah.
And I've been going down this rabbit hole with this. And it's something that I really believe, to build this bridge where normal people actually want to help out. Like, we mess up the streets. We're the only ones that are going to fix the streets. And what I mean by that is we're the only ones that can help another addict stay sober. And we're, but we do need help, kind of, right? Like, we fuck shit up so good. We still need help. And, this is hopefully going to open up some eyes to people that recovery people are normal, and we're so fucking talented. We're so beautiful. We're so compassionate. We breathe harder. We think better. We're faster. This is the gifts you get out of sobering up, right? And the biggest part is our hearts are so much bigger and we care so much more, right? And I think normal people don't see that. They see a fob on your keychain and you're like, you're an addict. You're not using my fucking bathroom. You're an addict. You're not
We're
coming
not
into my house.
hiring you. Yeah.
We're not hiring you. You're going to steal from us. We don't trust you. And we've done this. And it's blatantly obvious. If you look around every town, I lived in every town up and down the island in the last 3 years, Leisha, and every town is swarmed with people doing drugs on the street, stealing, robbing.
Yeah.
10 cities, right? We need to fix this, and we need to do it with a big heart and an open mind. This is very important that this is going on. This is just something I'm doing. There could be things other people are doing too to help this, but this is like something that is fucking shit up. Like,
it's the most beautiful I've heard. There's probably been the most. This is the quietest I've ever been.
Yeah, I see.
Because I just want to hear what you're saying. What you're saying is, it makes perfectly great sense. Like, let's bring them to people. Why is Alcoholics Anonymous anonymous? Why are we anonymous? How is anybody supposed to help us fight stigma? How is anybody supposed to feel about these people if we don't know anything about it? All of these systems, these clubs that are massive and great and beautiful, that have been really helpful, although I would argue the numbers on a different podcast. But anyways, we need to open the doors a little bit to let people in, because there's families out there, there's friends out there, there's spouses out there that don't understand what the hell is going on inside those doors. So why would they support us? Why would they want? Why would they? They don't know. It's all they see is this revolving door that isn't always necessarily successful for their loved ones, right?
No.
I know kids that are absolutely terrified of AA because hear that serenity prayer, and I know that's the next. That my mom says shit, and then she just fucks shit right up.
Yeah.
Right. Whoa, wait a second, because inside there's like a lot of community. There's people that they're early up for coffee and set up chairs. There's so much community. So I think that this is fantastic to break open that chain a little bit. And
absolutely, like they don't need to come to the meetings, right?
No.
But just being involved with us is a new territory that NA isn't really approaching, and AA isn't really approaching, where they still want to single it out, right? We don't promote this stuff, right? Like I said before, we make this so fucking attractive, and I'm gonna make this theater so fucking attractive. And people are like, you can't promote this. I was like, I'm not, bro. This is attractive. This is what attraction looks like. This is me getting it out. Attraction this, attraction that, right? And it is so sexy. Anything to do with attraction, right? And here's the shitty thing. I went and I brought these flyers to one of these meetings, right? And they were just like, "Is there any AA related topics?" And I don't know if you know Gore. I can't say his name. Anyway, there was a guy there, and I was like, someone was like, "Lucas, are you gonna say about your theater?" And the guy looks at me because he's old school, and he's like, "That's not AA. That's not AA affiliated." And I went up there and I said, looked at Buddy in the face, and I said, "Look it, man. This isn't 1935. This is 2025. Anything that helps in recovery is going to help people. Like, why are you fighting against me wanting to help other people, wanting to get people more confidence, wanting to build their lives up, wanting their kids to come to a theater and watch their dad on stage, watch their child on stage, watch their mom on stage, watch their friend on stage? Why the fuck do you want to stop that? You know, anything in mental health is related recovery. I don't understand these people. There's like, any related topics? Yours isn't related, but it's going to help people in the long run. You know, like, people need to start changing their fucking minds about this shit. You know, we need to, I'm not trying to change the program. I'm trying to make it attractive. And I'm trying to get newcomers attracted. I want newcomers to stay off their phones. I want them to look forward to something, have purpose for something, and have normal people be like, "You're in recovery? Good for you."
Yeah.
You know?
I want to do that.
Look,
I want to be that. What's going
I
on
want some
over
of
there?
that. Good for
totally.
you.
Yeah. Kaz,
Like,
you're fucking back. Yeah. 100%.
go, brother. You know, like, fuck yeah, I support you. You don't want to go to a bar and drink? Fuck yeah. You know, let's not. Let's go camping and hang out, or let's just go up for a drive up the mountain and shoot the shit, right? We don't need to do that stuff today. I understand where you're coming from, right? I know you have a switch inside of you can't turn off. I understand you. That's where I want new people to say, or normal people to say, I understand that you have a switch inside of you can't turn off. So I'm not going to put you in that situation. So sick of it.
Fucking hashtags casket stigma, hashtag end stigma, hashtag fucking
End
all
stigma.
that shit. Honestly, like that's the one. All we have to do is be kind and like open the door a little bit, understand each other. It's not of a goddamn conversation. You knocked it out in an hour and 5 minutes. You explained exactly what people do. There's the model, you guys, in the comment section. Take that model, take that structure, and apply it to everything that you're doing. You want to help your community, you want to help society, you want to help people that are struggling with addiction or yourself. This and run with it, because you absolutely explained what needs to happen. There's the fundamentals. There's the fundamentals. Be kind to each other, open the door, and be understanding. And you know what? Tough love is acceptable, but we don't need to tough love everybody in goddamn corner. Like,
no, some people won't handle it.
Yeah, man. Yeah, like, we don't need
some people can't take a Jimmy.
Yeah, not everyone. Yeah, not everybody needs Jimmy. And like, you know, I have a lot of people that call the hotline that are like, I don't. You know, my daughter does this, so I don't talk to her anymore. And I'm like, damn, I bet you that probably triggered a lot for her. You know, I don't.
100%.
Like, Jesus, okay, you know, and it's a common conversation over when we talk about MCFD, and we don't have to get into that tonight. But you know, start stripping people away from the things that they love. Like, although it might make you feel like that's what we're do. It really does. The old model of like intervention, where we're like, you know, your addiction affects me in the following ways, and now I will no longer like that piece is broken. That broken piece of literature. It's a broken piece of language, which like extending the all branch and open up doors for people and allow them to sit in some of this hot mess, because hot mess, as long as we understand it, is going to perpetuate all this story and greatness. I'm so impressed with what you do. I'm so, thank you so much for coming on and explaining it to all of us, because I was like, what are you up to? He's got people on pages, like you know, all this stuff. Like, okay, I'm gonna need to hear from the man himself. Thank you so much for hanging out with us and explaining all that.
I love you.
The people, I love you too, Darren. Where can the people find you? Like, where can they go and see the show? Do you guys got dates like locked in?
Yeah, the date's gonna be in September, like early September, just before people go back to school. Right? Okay. We want to catch all those normal people coming back from their vacations, all those doctors, all those lawyers, all those fancy fuckers, you know, and bring them to a show, and bring recovery centers are getting, you know, are coming. It's gonna be all recovery based. They're gonna be showing their kids are gonna be up there, their dads and moms are gonna be up there. Right? There's gonna be 4 shows throughout the week. I'm actually going to be in the show, and I'm super scared and nervous about it. I've never done it, but if I'm making this attractive, I better be standing with people doing this, right?
Yes.
And the thing about theater is you only get one shot.
You'll do fine. It'll be so fun. And I think that's the authenticity of theater is what's going to drive everybody to come watch again and again and again. So, congratulations on all that. Do we have, I think Calico just popped it in the comment section. You guys go ahead and check it out. What will they find? I didn't say what will they find. What will they find with Addicts, with Aspirations and Addicts with Attitude? You just explained all that, so you don't have to run through that shit again. But Calico, go ahead and pop it in the comment section for everybody to go and check out. If you know somebody that is struggling, or who are struggling yourselves, you guys can go ahead and check that www out. Also go ahead and contact us at 250-289-3348. We have our podcast, our Pinecase podcast. My God, I really like go back in and relive some of this stuff because it's like it used to be like memory. Now I'm like, okay, we're gonna change this. So you guys go ahead and hit our Pinecase line at 250-289-3948. It doesn't have to be a serious thing. It just has to matter to you, and it matters to us. It's a deal. If it's a big deal and you feel like you need to call professionals, down in the States and in Canada, they have this great program. It is pound 9988, the suicide prevention line. It's serious. We've called it. We checked into it. They're really kind over there. Everybody lined up for you. If you're really thinking about, this isn't it. You've had enough. Or you guys use that pound 988. It's going to get you to professionals that you need to contact. You can contact us well, and we'll get you over there. But I just want you guys to know, have access to that number. It's super important. We've lost the numbers, especially in the blue collar sector, rise every single day, and it is the bonus society. We had the election yesterday, and I know a lot of people are kind of feeling it from that. And so I think that the most important thing from the political climate that I can promote for you is we need to take care of our dudes, right? We need the dudes. They're important, and they are absolutely what allows us to live in this space that we live in, and it is a massive part of our tax bracket support. So we cannot take anybody for granted. So please don't take yourself for granted. Please be kind to each other. Look out for each other. And I, on that note, I mean, that was a bit longer of a speech than usual, but I think, we would be doing everybody a disservice. We don't also allow everybody to know where they can go for the naloxone kits as well. So up here in Canada, and for you guys down in the States, because I see you in the comment, just go ask your friends. You can go and for 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 kits, you can go ahead and hit them with it, like through the clothes, whatever you need to do. If it's the nasal sprays, you guys just pump, go straight. Ones up in Canada look like this, or at least this is the one that I have right now. We're not going to do a full demonstration, but you guys can find the full demonstration on our YouTube channel, which is also, there's the other kit. There you go. Yeah. Just these do not mean that you have a problem. We need to Stigma. These do not mean that you have a problem. You have added this to your first aid kit. That you've added it to your glove compartment. With these save lives. It's just like it's just like an
drugs are everywhere right now.
Carry them with you. If you go ahead and administer them, you can go straight through their clothes. You don't have it very personal with people. You're going to hurt them because ultimately they're in a worse situation. Anyways, right? So you can, through legs, in the arms, or whatever you're most comfortable with. If it doesn't work offhand and you're pretty convinced that that's what it is, you can hit them with 2 or 3 shots of it. It's not going to harm them. It's not going to harm people that are pregnant. It's not harm them if they're not on opiates. So if you're worried that, maybe they're not on that, so this isn't work, it doesn't really matter. It's not going to affect whatever is happening in their system. It's tested and true. So please, you guys, go into them at your pharmacy. You can also get them at the ER hospital, but try not to. I hate sending people over there because they're busy dealing with this. All right, so you guys. So, anyways, thank you so much, Lucas.
Thank you.
We want to know what is going on, and this might be the last time. So, we got to get you back in the calendar. One hell of a story, one hell of a testimonial, and then to be out there just living it, crushing it, and giving people the space that they need to be sober is amazing. So please, in a few months after the show's over, you can come back on and let us know how it went. Because it was an absolute delight.
Love you.
I love you too, darling. We'll see you guys Tuesday.
Please stay strong. Please stay
The
strong.
further you take my rights away, I'ma run to it, refuse to hear my voice. Speak loud when I spit it, but you don't get it. You just wanna be a side critic. See somebody else showing hate in the side of the road with it. Now how would you feel standing on the sideline and watch the color of a nation deteriorate over time? The flag real high but compassion 6 feet below. Now you're searching for that justice that the side of the never showed. Deny my place, I'm back with a trace. Keep up the pace, tight lace, game face, get back in the race. Whatever they did could never be undone. Every dark night ends with the rising of the sun. Squandered every wealth that's built from the mud. Squandered every wealth that's built from the blood. Squandered every wealth that's built in chains. Stolen from the ancestors,
With
running
the
through my
strength
veins.
of 1,000 lion and the strength of 1,000 giant, please stay strong. Please stay strong. With the strength of 1,000 elephant and the strength of 1,000 tiger, we stay strong. We stay strong. We stay strong.
I can see, run to the light at the end of the tunnel winner.
We stay strong.
I can't breathe, we're gonna get oxygen without the justice system.
We stay strong.
And I know, gotta keep my head together,
We stay strong.
Don't doubt me, please don't doubt me.
We stay strong.
Tell me how can we be strong if we still shooting? Tell me how can we be strong if we still looting? Tell me how can we be strong if we still hating? Please tell me now, please.